Hi, I'm Shea.
And I'm Shealyn.
This is Shea's Scary Lounge. What are you doing?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to work out why I look so large and in charge. I mean, there we go. How about that? You know, you got me this cool bow, but it's blending in with my background. So
I know.
I'm
You're just going to have to be like this, like the entire time.
But how cool is that? Freddy Krueger.
Which one is that? Is it the Jason
this
one?
Is the Freddy Krueger.
It's a Freddy Krueger one?
Yes. That too.
Super. I saw him on Etsy and was like, how can I not get horror film hair flare?
Well, I love the Scream one that I'll be wearing next episode. It's really big, so it's gonna look like a hat on my head. Yeah,
it doesn't look that big in the picture.
Yeah, no, when I got it, I was like, what the fuck, did she think I have actual hair? Because it's definitely gonna look like a cheerleader bow. It's very cute, but on my head it's gonna look like a hat, you know, because I have no hair.
I love that. And so today we're doing Gremlins. You haven't. Well, you can barely see mine. Mine's like all evil, all kinds of evil. Which, did you know it was originally supposed to be a comedy? Or they considered it a comedy.
Really?
They considered it a comedy.
Very dark comedy, I would have to say.
Dark. In fact, it was worse.
Oh yeah, no, I've definitely heard about that before, that there was more, because it's so weird. I think of Gremlins as a kid movie. In my mind, I'm like, oh, it's a kid, you know. It's really not. I mean, you said you showed it to your daughter early on and traumatized her.
Yes. 8 years old, which I felt like was a good age for this movie. I was like,
I was
like 7. She was 8. Yeah. Apparently not as developed in the horror genre as I was. So she wasn't
traumatized like you were by Amityville Horror.
She wasn't ready for it. That was the scariest movie I've ever seen. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, I mean, it has its moments. I was reading that they are the reason that there is such a thing as PG-13. Yes. Because before you definitely can't give this PG, but you also can't give it R. I mean, I guess you could, but that would be a stretch. You know, like it's not that gruesome. But it really, the more you think about it or like actually watch it, it really is that gruesome. Like there's killing people. Like, I don't know. Part of me, I love Stripe. Where is he? There he is. He's my favorite. You know, he's always, he's like, Gizmo Caca. Like, the whole movie.
Did you know that line right there was Michael Winslow from Police Academy?
Oh,
who makes all the sound effects. There's a bunch of people who created a lot of the sounds. There's one guy, Frank something. I forgot his name. I feel bad.
Did he ad-lib the Gizmo Caca?
Yeah, but he was doing a lot of the sound effects for a lot of the Gremlins. They were just making sounds and making noises, and he's like, Gizmo Caca. And I just like, that's perfect. But he's the one who says that, but the rest of Stripe's lines, when he's like randomly says things, deagle, 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 deagle.
Yeah.
It's this other guy named Frank Wechsler or whatever. Who does all the sound effects for Stripe, and then
Deagle. Then the famous Howie Mandel, we know, is the voice of Gizmo, which I loved. I remember hearing about this a long time ago. I watched some random interview of his, but he was talking about showing his kids Gremlins early on, because he's like, you know, in order to make generations still like those movies and appreciate practical effects, you need to show it to them, you know, and then they're like, oh, this is rad. Don't you know, I'm going to force my children to watch this. I've already done it to my nieces and everything, and they like it. I don't think they have the same affinity for it.
No,
that I
Maddie
do.
Does not. No, I asked her.
Well, she was traumatized.
Well, because she didn't remember it. So I made her watch it again with me. When I watched it, I was like, come watch the movie. And she's like, I don't want to watch the movie, because she's a teenager. She doesn't like anything. So I made popcorn and was like, if you want the popcorn, you have to watch the movie. That's the rules. Them's the rules.
That's a great deal.
And so she was like, okay, fine. So she sat down and ate the bowl of popcorn and finished the movie with me. And she had a lot of questions.
And she didn't like it?
Oh, she liked it, but she goes, the CGI was really bad.
You're like, because it's not.
I was like, you mean like And I was thinking about it. I'm like, you mean like at the end, like when he blows up? Like, what do you mean CGI?
Like there is no CGI.
There is no CGI. It's all practical effects. And then she's like, well, no, like all of the Gremlins. I'm like, that wasn't
You're
CGI.
like, the puppets? You mean
those
the actual
are real
puppets that cost a lot of money?
Like,
yeah.
She was like, oh, I'm like, yeah, those were real.
Yeah. Perhaps if knowing that, now she would maybe think they were better.
Yeah.
You know, like if she was thinking, but honestly, I think it still holds even without CGI. Like everyone's moving. Of course, Gizmo's a little like, you know, robotic, like you know, he's not obviously like really interacting with Billy in the way that like CGI they could probably do, but who cares? Like that doesn't take away from the story at all.
Exactly.
You know.
It's so fun and cute, and you're like, I want a Gizmo.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would want one. I don't know. I'm one of the weird people, probably because mine would end up being like striped little butthole. You know, that's like, you know, I stay up late. I would accidentally feed them after midnight. So you probably recognized the set they were on. You know, what's the name of the city? I forget.
Is it Kingston Falls?
Something like that.
Kingston Falls is like the fictional town of the Gremlins.
Of the Gremlins. That I also was reading that the Gremlins were modeled after a mouse problem that he had.
Well, yeah, that's where
living in Manhattan.
Chris Columbus, your favorite director of Home Alone, he is the one who wrote the screenplay for it, which made it much darker than what it was, where Steven Spielberg and Warner Brothers went, whoa, you gotta tone this down. Like I read that one scene that the one where mom is fighting off the 4 gremlins. I
love that.
Which Maddie had an issue about because she was so bothered. She's like, I don't understand. Like she's so like against everything. So she's like, I don't understand. Why is it that the guy, the science teacher, he died, right? But the mom is like, just like, I was like, you know why? Because it's a mom. That's why.
Yeah.
She's not fucking around.
Women are stronger. And sorry to break it to Maddie, but yes.
Seriously. I was like,
we would
she's
win.
a mom.
Yeah, facts. And
because she was attacked by 4
a bunch of crap. Yes. And she ends up killing one. Another great practical effect right there is with the microwave. They used a balloon.
Blow it.
Which is always like, so when you watch it, you're like, oh my gosh, but what else are you gonna do with it? You gotta get rid of that.
It's in the blender and the microwave. She stabs it to death.
Yes. One of my favorite songs ever, a Christmas song, is the Darlene Love one, the Christmas.
That will always be a scary song for me. That's always that's a horror film. I'm like, because of this movie, that do you hear what I hear?
I love it.
That's a horror film. I'm like, there's a scary movie right there. And I will come out and hear it and be like, is Gremlins on? No?
Yeah. No. I love that one. It's I don't know. I play that on all my Christmas lists. It's such a beautiful song to me. I don't only think of it with this movie. I think it's in another
from this movie. I think of it. But that scene where she like, you know, comes at ninja style at all the Gremlins. Apparently she's supposed to be decapitated, and then the Gremlins were supposed to throw her head down the stairs when Billy came home. Like, talk about trauma.
A little bit, a little darker. Just a little.
That is like way darker. I wonder what his kill count was originally.
That could have happened to the dad, maybe, because he's a little annoying. But I'd be sad if it happened to the mom. But yeah. So what are the 3 rules? What are they for Gremlins? So it's no bright lights.
No bright light. Can't stand bright light.
No water.
Do not get it wet. Don't
my favorite, the feeding after midnight. That's like when I eat for the most part. So
right.
I'm
that
one
is like controversial because really, it's always after
what time
midnight.
zone?
Like, what time zone are you in? Is it
exactly
like when in mid?
Yeah. Well, I know how you are with time zones. Even just coordinating us to film, you're like, where do you live again? And I get it. I travel a lot.
You travel a lot. And I'm like, where is she now? Like, where are you?
But you're always on the same time zone. So like, you should know.
But you're like, okay, different. So we're going to do like 4 o'clock my time. Is that 3 my time? No,
you're like,
it's,
where are you?
Like, where
I love it.
are you? I need to have like the different clocks of where you're located. Be like, where are you today?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense, because sometimes I'm like, what day is it? Where am I? What city is this?
I know. Yeah, I can imagine you doing that.
They also, another dark scene is when she goes on that rant.
Oh my
the great
gosh.
Phoebe Cates, who I love, who almost didn't get this role because she had just done the titty scene in
the Fast Times
Fast Times.
Yeah.
And they didn't know if they could sell her as a good girl. And I'm glad they ended up using her.
But the fun part about that scene is they originally, Steven Spielberg wanted to cut it because he's like, I don't know if it's supposed to be hilarious or tragic.
Yes, and because I agree. I'm like
so deadpan. She's just like,
yeah, she's already kind of a bummer and weird. I don't know. I don't really care for her in this particular film. Like I said, I love her. She's gorgeous. Love her in Fast Times. It's Linda, but yeah, the whole like she's like, cross your T, you know, when he's signing that, it's like, shut up. And then for their story, which is it's an ode to an old urban legend, the same kind of thing with the Santa coming down. It's just so terrible, but see how terrible I am? I laugh. So I get where.
Well, they didn't know if it was supposed to be sad or funny. They're like, is this funny? Are we supposed? It's like me during the orgy scene of the Midsummer. I'm like, is this supposed to be a comedy? Because
I hate that. I wasn't laughing at that. I was so terrified.
Terrified. I laughed during that whole scene. I was like, am I supposed to? I feel odd. Am I supposed to be laughing? Like, this is weird.
I was literally getting agita, which is like, you know, like your heartburn, and you're like, oh, this is so terrible no.
Yeah.
After she put her I hate that movie. You know how I feel about Midsummer. The worst. I hate it.
I understand the whole is it supposed to be funny or not?
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Well, I feel that first strongly. You're like, is she serious? Did this actually happen? Or is she like, is this at the end? She's going to be like, hey, just kidding, you know, or not.
No, she's kind of like dramatic in it. And just like, she has her trauma story and she's like, oh, this is another reason for me to hate Christmas.
Yeah. Which then, don't they throw to that in the second movie, in the sequel?
Probably.
She does another, like, kind of long story like that, and it's almost like making fun of this movie.
Yes.
For that ridiculous
I think
story.
Actually the second one is really like a parody of the first one.
Yes, I agree.
In a lot of ways. Zach Galligan from Waxworks and then Phoebe Cates. And then I love the old dude who yells about Gremlins.
Yeah.
And then we think he's run over by a tractor, but he's not because it comes back in part 2. But whatever.
Oh, I thought for some reason he definitely dies. Oh,
no, we think he did, but then he comes back in part 2. Like I had to research that because I was like, did he die?
Yeah, he's a great character actor.
I love
forget his name, but he's in I think he's in a lot of Twilight Zones too, or so I could be making.
I have no doubt. Or for sure. But also, Mrs. Deagle, I'm bothered very much by this Wicked Witch of the West. Deagle. I'm gonna get you in our little dog too.
Yeah, I know, definitely.
I hate her.
Well, I mean, I think you're supposed to. I don't think anybody's like a fan of Mrs.
She's
Deagle.
like the weird cat lady. But dude, I mean, I'm not a fan.
Her death is probably the best one, though.
It is, like, although I was bothered by it because so she sees the carolers or all the gremlins. They're coming for me, and I'm like, did you expect to be killed by a bunch of gremlins? So she gets on her little like going up the stairs.
Her lift,
car. Okay, it's a 2-floor building.
No, but she's like
this.
Oh yeah, she does go.
She goes multiple
it's a grand staircase.
And I'm like, she only went out one floor. I don't.
Yeah, but she's rich, so maybe she just had it made that way. You know, Mrs. Deagle.
It's for
what she wants.
They're like, we need to see all these pictures. Like it's a long ride for her to go up and down the stairs. I'm like, it's not because she came flying out that second floor window.
Yeah, she did, and she deserved that.
And there wasn't actually. There's interesting. Not that many people died in this movie.
Another person in it is Corey Feldman. He's in it.
Yes, he dresses as a Christmas tree for the first
like me, a little tree. If you're wondering what I'm wearing, I am a tree. But his why is he, and I know I've read this and I'm probably going to get it wrong before, he's much younger than Billy. Like, but they're supposed to be friends.
Right.
Was Billy supposed to be younger in the original script?
I think he's supposed to be like 18 or 19 or whatever, because they're still in high school. Obviously, because
are they right?
No, but then No,
but then they're at a bar.
He's at a bar, but he's drawing. I don't know if he's drinking.
Yeah, but to just be at a bar, don't you have to be? Or maybe you don't.
No, it's a small town.
That's true. I love that scene too, where they're like hanging from the chandeliers and just
and Phoebe Cates
just
just pouring drinks and stuff.
Yes.
Like, just don't bite me. Don't bite me.
Yes.
Take whatever you want.
She's like, they don't even pay me to work here. Whatever.
Right. She's just doing it to be nice for the Christmas holiday, just to be friendly.
Yes.
But that's nice. That's because you're lonely and you have nothing else to do. So you're like, I'll just keep busy. And I hate Christmas, so I'm just going to work until I die.
I mean, she has a reason to hate Christmas,
It's true. It is true. But still.
This movie.
Now she has another reason to hate Christmas.
Oh, yeah. She's like, the Gremlins. Who then that's kind of it's a long scene, I feel like, at the end, like the whole kind of
it
end,
is.
if that makes
when
sense.
When they kill
battle
the last
scene.
one, and Gizmo is the hero.
Yes,
hero,
where it was supposed to be
the Barbie car.
Billy was going to be the hero, right, or something. And then I wonder why they switched it up. Like maybe they wanted to sell more Gizmo dolls.
Probably because Gizmo's cute. He's the fun, like he's the good version of the Stripe Spike character.
Yeah, they're all supposed to be good. The ones that are spawned out of not following the rules, those are little buttholes, like Stripe and all his little gang that love Snow White and go to the then are they just throwing stuff? Like I don't know. So
and then again, the movie comes on and they're like, and they start singing along, and I'm like,
I love
what it takes to be entertained. And then I think they burn the theater down, so we kill all of them except for Stripe.
Like, why?
Kill all of them except for Stripe. I love that he looks in, he sees one gremlin in the popcorn, and he goes, "They're in there." I'm like, how he knows? What? How do you know they're all in there?
Was it because Snow White was on or something? It was like he knew that they liked that movie or something. He was
they put it on.
He also put it on the marquee. Like how?
Right.
They were doing that. And like these are some talented gremlins.
I'm very impressed. Okay, like come on.
They're thorough with their.
They are, and they are mischievous, and they think it's funny when people fly out of second floor windows. They're like,
I mean, it is when it's diggle, diggle, diggle.
Diggle, diggle, diggle. You horrible person.
She asked for it.
She did.
I meant to watch the second one and kind of refresh my memory before this, but. In the interest of time, I just watched Gremlins like 80 million times because it's so great.
It's so fun. Classic. You could just put it on and be like, let's go. It's just great. It's just fun. Which halfway through the movie, I ended up doing a bunch of other things too. But I was like, I have it memorized. I just needed a refresher.
Yeah, like it's definitely you can watch it any time of the year. It is a Christmas movie, even though it came out in the summer. But that's because who made it? Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers was
I think the director chose to, or Spielberg,
because they didn't have. They didn't have anything to go against. Like, I don't think it would have been Spielberg. Didn't he also do Indiana Jones?
He did.
Indiana Jones came out that year too. Like, it was a big movie year. Like they had,
but they put it out in the summer because they didn't want it to be considered a Christmas movie.
Oh god!
And then people only watch it once a year. They wanted people to enjoy it anytime, which
you can.
Which you can.
Ghostbusters came out that year. What other movie am I thinking of? Like a huge year for film and great.
Was it like 1984 or something like that?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
So
so Gremlins and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom were the reason why they got the PG-13 changed over, because there was no in between. And Spielberg is the one who suggested it, because they're like, we're going to give it an R. And he's like, can't there be an in between?
Yeah, it didn't deserve an R. Like,
no,
there are much worse or like scarier films out there.
Like even now, it is not PG-13. It is PG. Still says PG.
Really?
It does.
Oh, interesting.
When I looked it up, it still said PG, and I was like, "So we just stayed with that
crazy.
Then? We just stay with that then?"
I guess because you don't really see, like, if I can remember correctly, it's not showing the gore and stuff, right?
No, the movie does not show gore, but it is. I mean, it's traumatic. Like when the teacher dies, the science teacher, the all-knowing. I love that he's like, "I'm gonna take your blood sample. What lab are you taking this to?" Like where in the school science teacher guy
school eating a Snickers or whatever he's eating. I love him.
Just like, where are you going with the blood vial? Like, I don't understand.
Come on, little buddy, or whatever. I love him.
Like, where are you going? You're a science teacher.
Yeah.
You're not a scientist.
Like, why are you still there at night? What is going on here? Like, go home.
Oh, did you also know that originally they wanted to put monkeys in costume and have them be the Gremlins? They tested it out.
PETA say no?
No, I don't know if they had PETA then, did they? I
think so.
I don't know. I don't keep up on PETA.
They've always been there, Shay. No, I don't know actually.
But so they thought it'd be great to put a monkey in a gremlin suit, and they're like, "Yeah, let it go," and it like put the mask on, and it freaked out and destroyed the room. So they went, "That's not a good idea."
Yeah, if it wasn't, if it's another animal rights group, was probably like, "This is not going to work."
Back to the drawing board. Let's go ahead and make robots
and or puppets. A lot of them were puppets.
A lot of them were puppets.
Yeah, animatronics, and Billy was saying, Zach Galligan was saying that they would search your trunk when you were leaving to make sure you weren't stealing any props because they were so expensive to make and everything. So yeah, they weren't messing around. I mean, looking in this movie scene, of course, it's not the whole
where there's like
theater, but there's a bunch of them. Yeah, which I don't know if they could have cheated it. Like now with CGI, they do a thing called tiling, so you can literally take a picture of the same 10 people and move them around a little bit,
it all over the place.
Yeah, so I don't know if they were able to do something like that, or if they literally made all those. I'm gonna next time I watch it, I'm gonna look in the back rows and see if it's like a cardboard
moving around
cut out. How many stripes do you give this movie? And I mean
5 out of 5.
Stripe. Oh, 5
out of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
5 out of 5. It is classic. It's like it's classic. Like you have to show a kid it just to get their
keep it going, like keep spreading it to any kids
It's fantastic. Also, it's a reminder: do not give your children pets for Christmas. Don't do it.
Is that the overall? That's the message you got. That's the
message I took was don't do it. How many stripes would you give it?
Oh, 5. Definitely. 5 out of 5.
Hands down. There we go.
Yeah. It's such a classic.
Until next time. Oh, I guess we gotta do our ending thing. We always forget that. So follow us on Facebook and Instagram and subscribe, hit the button so you get notifications. And maybe we'll put up if you like Shealyn's hair flare, I can put the link on where to get that in our notes for the lady on Etsy, who apparently only has a Facebook page, but whatever, it's fine.
Oh, got it. No Instagram.
So whatever.
Got it.
So until next time, bye. Okay.
Hi, I'm Shealyn. No, I'm just kidding. That'll be the end. Yeah, can you get rid of that zit, please? Yeah.
I will now.
I know you. I know what you do.
Whatever, you love it.